All right, everybody. Good morning. It is a little bit after what? Good morning, I guess, everybody. It's a little bit after 8 o'clock on the morning on the 17th of May, 2019. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you are joining me today for the first time, again, my name is Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker here in Tucson, Arizona. I run a little channel on YouTube called Sell More Homes Now. It's designed specifically for realtors, for their sales skills to help them get the information that they need so that they can become better salespeople. Now, today, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jump into some expired calls. Now, I don't have a ton of them that we're going to call. But we're going to call what we have. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into an area of town that is a pretty good area for investments, a fairly good area for, picking up a fairly decent listing. So we're going to do some justice and just solds in there. And then we'll do some investment calls to wrap it up, perhaps in a subsequent stream after this one. I'm trying to keep the streams, less than an hour. The idea is that hopefully I'll be able to go ahead and over the course of some time, be able to get some meaningful conversations that, we'll be able to hear. I'll be able to cut and splice them up, put them together on a podcast for you eventually, perhaps at theredpillinvestor.com. When that's going to come out, I'm not 100% sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and dial into the system. We're going to go ahead and get started, and then we'll get cracking. And as we go through, if you have any questions, feel free to post them right there in the chat box, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability when I can. And then we'll see what happens. So let's get cracking. So let's see here. All right. Hopefully you're having a good day. This is
Hello, this is Al.
Hey, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm better than I'm sorry. My name's Carl Krenzel. It sounds like I might actually have the wrong number. I apologize. I'm actually looking for the owners of a property over there on Sandtrap Way. Is that your property?
It is not.
Oh, gosh. No worries. Hey, since I got you anyway, do you happen to know anybody who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash?
I do not.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd question. So, okay, cool. Well, listen, I appreciate your time.
I appreciate the entrepreneurial spirit there.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. You, God bless you. You have a wonderful day, okay?
You as well.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Which reminds me, we forgot to go ahead and say our prayer. Let's just go ahead and quickly pray. God, Lord, I just ask that you'd watch over these people who are watching this podcast and this this stream today. I'd ask that you'd, the word speaks in a strange way. I just ask that you'd go ahead and watch over the people we're going to call today. Many of them are going to be upset. Many of them are going to be hurt. Lord, I just ask that you'd help us to help them. Help us do it all in your name and in the right spirit. Amen. All right. So here we go. Let's try that again. Right spirit. We got to start in the right place, guys. Remember, everything you're doing here is for a reason, right? You got to remember, everything you do has to have some kind of purpose. What that purpose is, you may not necessarily know, but it does have a purpose. Okay, so try not to knock that over again.
Not able to. Hello?
Hey, this is Carl. How are you?
Hello?
Yes, this is Carl. Can you hear me okay?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me all right?
Hello?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Oh, this is cute. It's one of those little voicemails.
Hello?
Love that.
Hello? Hello.
Something's going on here. My phone is acting crazy. All right. Let's see here. All right, let's try this again. There we go. This thing's knocking everything over. Let's just do it that way. Apparently the tension from my cord was pulling this thing down, making it exceptionally difficult. I'm not sure if this is who I want, but 6 calls made so far to 3 different leads. You know, there was a time I used to have this. I was addicted to numbers, right? Oops. I definitely don't want to call this guy. Let's see. How do I deal with this one? Let's see here. I want to. I want to archive these people here. Interesting why it would go through that. Okay. Okay, well, no worries. Just gonna go. So let's change that. Not sure how to get out of that part. Let's see. Let's put this on pause real quick here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end that for that, and then I'm going to get rid of this, guys, because here's what I've got basically. So on the list of people that I've scheduled myself to call, right? I've got a list of people here, several people that I don't want to deal with because I know who they are. They're investors here in town, and obviously I'm not going to be dealing with them. So I'm just going to clean up my list for 2 seconds here, and then we're going to call again. Okay, here we go. Back on it again. Yeah. Okay, so I got rid of them. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back on this again. All right. All right. Let's dial this again. Here we go. All right. So we're going to dial in. You cannot discover new oceans unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Andre Guide said that, apparently. All right, so let's get started on this. 1801. Right.
Welcome to Storm.
Apparently it didn't end my last session, apparently. No. That's not what I want. Things I promise you is going to make me back out of the whole thing. I promise you it's going to make me do that. I just know how these things work. Okay, so I'm going to do a real quick few just listed, just solds here to kind of break up the monotony a little bit, right? Because I'm not cool with a whole bunch of homes not, picking up phones and whatnot. I mean, we went through a whole bunch of calls right there. All right, let's go ahead and break up the change here. Okay, and dial. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. All right, here we go. Right. Dial. All right, here we go. Press go. And now. Not entirely sure how people are managing to get through when your phone is on do not disturb or whatever. I'm not sure how people can still get through to it other than maybe like a slide dial or something like that. I just, you know what I mean? Because I have my phone on do not disturb when I'm prospecting, and I've sit there, I got these phone calls coming in. I don't see how that's even possible, but who knows? All right, so 1801. All right.
Welcome to Storm.
Okay. Now we should be ready to go. So we're going to do a couple just listed, just solds, just to kind of break it up a little bit. Okay. I think it's really important that you establish a habit of getting up every day, getting dressed, coming into an office, coming into wherever you are, and working, right? I appreciate that I'm old-fashioned. I appreciate that I'm old-fashioned, that a lot of people work out of home and all that. I get it. The only problem is that I've discovered is that you get distracted very easily. At least I do. And maybe that's just me, right? But when you think about it, if you're trying to get something done, if you're trying to get a goal achieved, and you're trying to, let's say, play in a particular field, right? I always like to think of it like sports or something like that. It's difficult to become good at something if you don't dress to play.
Hello.
Hey, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Who are you?
It's okay. It's no worries. I'm not trying to sell you anything. My name is Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker here in town, and I'm not entirely sure if I've got the right person, so I might actually owe you an apology. Is this the senior residence over there on Sugarloaf?
No, it's not.
Oh, gosh. See, I got the wrong people altogether. No worries. Well, listen, since I've got you here anyway, do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash?
No, I'm not aware of it.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, God bless you. You have a wonderful day. Take care.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
What a
All right. So, boom. All right. So anyway, like I was saying, it's very difficult to get yourself in the mindset, especially as a realtor. If you're trying to invest, right? If you're always like an island, because you know how this business is. It's a lot like you're being alone a lot. You're prospecting alone, you're lead follow-up, making presentations. Oftentimes you work out of your home. It can be a very lonely business. The trick, I think, is to find a happy balance. Not necessarily where you're around people all the time, because that can be distracting. But not necessarily all by yourself all the time either. Because when you think about it, right,
hello.
neither of them is a good place to be. On the one hand, here you are trying to make money. If there's so many people chatting away, it's hard for you to do anything. On the other hand, if you're over here by yourself, it's difficult to hello?
If you reach Joan Mathis, I'm not available.
It's difficult. I'm trying to think where I was going to go with this. If you're by yourself, right, you don't get to hear all the gossip. You don't the good gossip. I mean, like the deals that are coming up, right?
Sorry, the person you were
I
trying
just
to
got
reach
this
has a
listing
voicemail.
over here on such and such street, or I know about this, fix up property, and do you know anybody who's looking to buy, or right? When you're in the office, you're going to hear the scuttlebutt. You're going to hear the stuff that's going on around you, and that's what's going to help you, I think, in the future, right? I've mentioned in my podcast and in other videos that in
The number that does not accept solicitations.
perfect.
If you are a solicitor, please add this number to your do not call list
Okay.
and hang up now.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, please press 1 or stay on the line.
Press 1 it is. Right. Let's see what happens.
Thank you. Please hold.
I love it when it says that, because most people just hang up or move on. Maybe we'll get lucky. Or not. Maybe not.
Hi, you've reached 219-9156.
Guess we have to drop a message today. Which CRM or platform do I use? Okay, so on this particular one, I'm using the Red X and the Storm Dialer in this particular case. I've used Zoho before. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some of the other. I've used Top Producer.
Hello?
Hey, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
I'm good. Is this a sales call?
No, ma'am. It's actually a good news call. And I'm not even sure if I got the right. I'm not even sure if I got the right person, which makes it even better news. my name's Carl Krenzel, and I owe you an apology. I might have the wrong number in advance. So I was actually looking for the Doolings. They own some property over there on Montera Vista. Is that your property, ma'am?
No, it's not.
See, even better news. All right. Well, it's a shame though, because you sound like a really nice lady. It's a shame I got the wrong number.
At times.
All right. Well, listen, since I got you anyway, do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd question anyway. So, all right. Well, listen, I appreciate your time, and God bless you. All right.
You too.
Take
Thank
care.
you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. See, one of the things I think that's important that you do on every call especially if it's the wrong person, right? Is ask them a follow-up question. Ask them, hey, gosh, like you just remembered it, right? And remember, a lot of this in prospecting is acting. Okay, you have to be able to act a certain way. And I know it sounds disingenuous, don't get me wrong, but this is a role.
I can't come to the phone right now. Please leave your name and phone.
There we go. This is a role that people expect when they're talking on the phone, right? People have expectations even on the phone, right? So think about it. When you pick up the phone, your first expectation is it's a telemarketer, right? Listen to what she said. She was like, what are you trying to sell, right? So you just want to deflect that, right? It's a good news call, right? Not a sales call. You can even lessen the blow, make it even more amenable. Gosh, I owe you an apology. I love to say that on every call because many times it's true, right? I mean, if I'm calling you, right? I mean, honestly, I don't know about how you feel, but when somebody calls me, I get a little upset, right? So think about it this way. If I was coming to your house and I was knocking on your door and you had to come from the backyard, take off the gloves, you were gardening or whatever, and you trotted all the way through the house, mud all through the, wife's looking at you funny because you got mud on your shoes. You open the door and here I am, right? Your initial mindset's not necessarily going to be the best, right? So when you think about it, on a phone, it's not really that much different. You want to make sure that you call them, and when you get them to pick up the phone, hello?
Hi, this is Tony. Thanks for calling and thanks for.
When you pick up the phone, make it easy for them to go ahead and talk to you. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, right? Tell them, gosh, I'm sorry, I might have the wrong number. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write you back, Raul, just to have the context here. It is the red X. Boom. All right. So I got you covered on that answer there. I appreciate you writing in that question. Thank you so much, Raul. I know that you probably had to get, and I appreciate you watching as long as you could. Okay. All right. So let's switch back over to some expired listings here. All right. And move over that. There we go. Pick up the expired. And let's see here. All right, there's not too many left, but let's give them a call. Here we go. Whammo. Oh, no. I don't want this one. I want the other one. This one. There we go. Okay, here we go. Now we're calling expireds again. All right. And whammo. Oh boy. Sometimes it be like that. Let's see here. Time for me to start filling in this schedule. What I always like to do, sit down for the week and fill out a schedule, right? This goes to show you how old I am. I actually have a paper book, which I still use to this day. The advantage of a paper schedule, at least in my mind, is that you can quickly look.
Good morning, Lord speaking.
Good morning. This is Carl. How are you today?
I'm okay.
I'm not sure if I have the right person, so I apologize in advance. I was looking for the owners of a property over there on Deer Shadow. Is that your property, sir?
That's me. Yeah, that's me, Dr. Lewis.
Oh,
yes,
Dr.
thanks.
Lewis.
Hi.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, my name is Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. I'm at the office recording some calls, and I noticed your property came off the market as an expired listing. Is that property still for sale? Or did you sell it?
It is, but I'm not. But I've taken it off the market as of 12 o'clock last night. I have no interest in a quick and dirty sale, anything like that. I'm gonna just take it off the market, take a breath, and maybe put it back up there in 1 or 2 years. But no
Okay.
urgency to sell it. I'm retired. No urgency to get back to the East Coast. It sells when it sells. I'll get the amount that I want.
I understand. No
That's
worries.
pretty much the bottom line.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, why do you feel the home didn't sell?
Because I'm not going to sell low. Unfortunately, a 1,000 square foot house, about a half a block down, sold for exactly what mine sold. But the house started $70,000 to $80,000, but $70,000 higher back in August, September, and it came down. Because the people died, the children just want the money out of it. They're not interested in selling it for what it's worth. They just want their money, their little cut of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the luxury of not playing that game. My house sells when it sells.
Makes
That's the
sense.
amount that I want for.
That makes sense. All right. If you don't mind me asking, you said you mentioned something about the East Coast. What part of the East Coast are you headed to?
Home, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Get out of here! Really? I was in the military for years, and I was stationed there at the Portsmouth Naval Hospital. I'm sorry, at the hospital there in Norfolk. So
In Portia Naval Hospital.
yeah, back when it was open. As I
I
understand,
think
it's closed now.
Effingham Street and Fort Nelson, I think it is.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, good for you. Well, Virginia Beach is beautiful. So is the plan
It's a gorgeous place, yeah.
is the plan just to rent this house out in the meantime, between time?
What is that now?
I'm sorry. Is the plan to rent the house out between now and then, or?
No, I'll stay in it. I'm retired. I'm 68 years old. The house is paid for, been paid for. It's retired. I got a couple condos here too. And my youngest son live here, so it's not like that. I mean, even if our house had sold, I still got 2 condos here that at some point I may or may not get rid of those.
Okay.
I've been here 26 years, so my youngest son, who's 28, was 2 when we moved here. So for him, this is home. He's
Yeah.
talking about moving not to Detroit,
Okay.
but it's a whole. But the beauty that I have that most people don't have, I'm retired. House paid for, no urgency to sell. If it sells in 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, that doesn't matter to me. In the meantime, I'll just stay here and get on with life, see friends, and have dinners, and take my walks, and get on with life. So
I mean, like, what's the worst that could happen? You live a good, long, healthy life, right?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the good news for me. And so
Exactly.
Again, I'm not willing for somebody to come in and say, "Oh, I'll buy the house for $10,000 or $20,000 less than what than what it was on the market for." Somebody come in and offer me a full contract tomorrow, I would probably say, "Okay, now we're talking."
Mm-hmm.
But short of that, I'm not going to sell.
I am curious. You mentioned if somebody was to come in with a full price contract, you'd say something like, "Well, gosh, now we're talking." I'm wondering if it was full price, or I don't know, maybe even a little bit more. But let's say you didn't get all your money up front. Let's say you got your money over time. That way you could move over to Virginia Beach. Would that be something that you'd be interested in?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. So you'd want all the money up
I was
front.
looking at I was looking at a condo in Churchland in Portia, right on the water.
Yeah, I know. I used to.
Part of my selling bid, so I lost out on that. So no, I would need every percent
Okay.
of my money when we go to closing. I want the big check, and then
Okay.
I can go to Virginia Beach and buy me a place on water.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I actually used to rent a place not far. You're talking about over there in Churchill Hills?
No, I had a contract on a condo in the section of Portia, Virginia called Churchland.
Yes. Oh, yeah, in Churchland,
Right
but
on the
there's a little
Elizabeth
spot in there called Churchill Hills in Churchland. I used to live in that area. Is it over there by that area?
Okay, all right. That doesn't ring a bell. I lived in Merrifield. Brother, who's a minister, just moved from Maryland back there. He lives right off of High Street West. Sister still lives in Merrifield.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know the neighborhoods. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Well, listen, and you mentioned that you got 2 other condos that you might be considering selling in the future. Is that correct?
Perhaps, but I mean, the one is all of them in my name, but my son, who's an attorney, I gave him, and the younger brother, they'll share one if I die tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
The younger son will get that one. So
Okay.
they're all in my name, in my trust, of course.
Well, of course.
Kind of so it will, we'll just take one day at a time. I'll sell maybe in a year or so.
Okay.
And then I'll talk with the 2 sons, and we'll make a decision about those 2 condos.
Makes sense. All right. Well, Dr. Lewis, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. I'm curious, you probably know lots of people, and I'm curious, do you happen to know anybody who's got an unwanted property that I could buy for cash?
Certainly not in La Reserve, obviously.
Well, no, I just meant in general in Tucson or anywhere here in town. I figured you probably knew a few people.
Yeah. A property, maybe. How would you feel about Sierra Vista?
Sierra where? Sierra Vista?
How about Sierra Vista?
It would depend. I mean, it depends on where it is and what it is. Tell you what, why don't I do this? Why don't I don't mind. Why don't I swing out, just take a quick look at your place? That way I'll be aware of it. I work over at Sotheby's, and being a doctor, you're aware of our reach. And certainly I can keep an eye out for somebody who might be willing to pay full price. And while I'm there, I'll give you my card. And then if you know somebody in Sierra Vista or anywhere else who's got an unwanted home, I buy them all the time. And we can just, trade cards.
I can do, I mean, obviously you can get behind the gate. And, I'm sure as a realtor you can come behind the gate. But I'll give you my email address. You can just give me that information, kind of thing. Despite being retired, I stay fairly busy day, haircut.
Yeah.
And I go do some volunteer work and other kinds of things. But
well, God bless you.
My email address.
Yeah.
You can always.
All right. Well, let me do that. Yeah. Let me grab that. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's A as in Alvin.
Mm-hmm.
My last name Lewis, Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
4609
Okay.
at AOL.com.
Oh, okay.
Send me whatever you want, and then I can tell you about the property down in Georgia.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then, of course, any other time you come across a property, I know that my wife is a nurse practitioner here in town, and she's she's been at TMC and knows lots of people. And I figure with you, it's probably the same way. So if you ever come across somebody, certainly I'll give you my name and number. You can Google me. I've been around 23 years here in town. So.
Okay, fantastic.
All right. Well, Dr. Lewis, I
All right,
appreciate you taking the time.
I look forward to getting an email from you, and if I certainly can, I know the one property in Sierra Vista that may be coming available soon. But certainly, I run into people all the time that got stories to tell, and I'll definitely keep that in mind for you then.
Well, God bless you, Dr. Lewis. I appreciate you.
All right, take care then, and you enjoy your weekend.
Yes, sir. You too. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, so in this particular circumstance, what we got here is, most, as I mentioned in a different, let me just write this down here, his email real quick. He has an AOL address, if you can believe it. In any event. Okay, so people, as I mentioned, when they get out of selling their property, right, as an expired listing, many times, they're just like they just got out of a bad relationship, and they're like, I don't care if it takes 1 year, 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, right? And ink. Okay, a good coach with the Mike Ferry organization. Well, I don't know if she still is, but she used to be. Her name was Ann Inc. And she taught me a very, very important principle, right? Never buy into their apparent lack of motivation. Okay, don't buy into it. Don't buy into their apparent lack of motivation, because the reality is they might swear on a stack of Bibles, I don't care if it takes 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. I'm going to get my money. Even if they come in down 20,000, I'm not going to take it, right? Okay. A lot of people say that. However, time and life changes. And it's a good idea if somebody's got tons of equity and they've got a property to sell or multiple properties, he's going to want to move. And this is somebody you want to establish a relationship with. Is this something you're going to work today? Maybe not. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see. All right. We're going to keep following up with him. Let's see. We're going to move him to, let me see. How do I move him to contacted? All right. And okay. So resume. Whoops. Not that one. All right, so no. Stop that. I don't want that one either. No.
Thank you for calling KMS Enterprises, located at 5225 East Taylor Street.
Got the wrong one again, Carl. Let me see here. Get rid of this. There we go. Just cleaning that up real fast. There we go. All right. Whammo. Who's this we're calling now? Oh, there we go. Boom. All right. Moving on to the next one. Took a minute, but we got it. All right. Let's see. Thanks for joining me. Whoever's currently with me, thank you. I appreciate it. If you think this is of value, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, hit the notify button, and share it on local social media with you. Bigger Pockets, if you're welcome. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hey there. This is Carl Krenzel. How are you?
Good. Carl who?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Carl Krenzel. It sounds like I might actually even have the wrong number. I apologize. I was actually looking for some folks who own a property on Adams Street. They own it as an investment property. That goes by the name of Osher Properties. Is that your property, sir?
Nope.
Oh, gosh. See, I got the wrong number altogether. Okay, well, listen, I'm sorry. Since I got you anyway, do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash?
Nope.
Okay, no worries. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time. You have a wonderful day. All right. Boom. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look.
Hello?
Hey, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Bien?
Bien. ¿Habla inglés?
No.
Oh, mi nombre es Carl Krenzel de Sotheby's International Realty. Estoy llamando para saber si usted está interesado en vender su casa.
Oh, no. No.
Ok, gracias. Mhm. Well, I don't want to front. I'm going to be very honest with you. That is the extent of the Spanish I know. I don't know anything other than that. If he had said something like, yeah, I still want to sell in Spanish or something like C or something like that, I would have been screwed. I wouldn't even know what to do. But when they say no, it's easy to understand. That counts as contact. It's the games we play. It's important, I think, if you live in an area where there's a lot of Spanish speakers.
Hi, this is Bill. Sorry I missed your call.
If you're in an area that has a lot of Spanish speakers, I think it's important for you to understand a little bit of Spanish and be able to communicate a little bit in Spanish. It just makes common sense. I'm not saying that you necessarily have to learn Spanish. It would be helpful, but pretty soon I'm thinking the technology is going to make that even unnecessary. We come up to the end of the expired list here. So the question comes up, what do you do when you're out of expireds? You've called all your expireds, you've called all your, center of influence or something like that. What do you do next? Well, if you still have time, which we do, and it's the morning, which it is, then you slip into just listed, just solds and FSBOs, right? So, all right, that is the end of that session. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do something a little bit different. All right. So I'm going to end this live stream here in just a second. But before I do, right, what I'm going to do is after I do this, I'm going to go ahead and set up another one. I'm going to get another set of people to call high probability cold calls, right? So what I'm going to do is locate a subdivision that has a high turnover rate over 5%. That's not going to be too hard for me to find. I'll find that. I'm going to look specifically for investment properties, right? And we're going to do just listed or just sold type calls or cold calls, right? They're not really going to be cold calls, but it's going to be kind of cold. But we're going to do it for investment type properties. You'll definitely want to stay tuned. And I'm going to do it probably about 10, 15 minutes from now. Got to make a nature call, get the information, and then we're going to go ahead and come back and make another one. So guys, thanks for tuning in. If you thought this was helpful, share. If you think somebody else could use this, call them, tell them, text them, email them, let them know, hey, you need to check out this live stream that Carl's fixing to do because he's going to go and find investment properties on the phone. And that you're going to want to stay tuned for. Promise you it's going to be fun. Stay tuned. It won't be long from now. Have a great day.